So one of the most polarizing and interesting F1 seasons has just ended. And it was pretty much a carbon copy of 2009 where one team dominated the first 8 races, and then in the second half they fell into the abyss. Although I will say that Red Bull were better in 2024 than Braun was in 2009, in the second half at least. Well, because Verstappen won 2 races in the second half, while Button and Barrichello didn't. And I think the top 4 was closer this year than it was in 2009, but the overall grid as a whole was closer in 2009 than it was this year. So with all that being said, in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the F1 Academy season. Now you might be wondering why I decided to do an F1 Academy recap instead of an F1 recap. I did a mid-season recap back in July, and that video did terribly, and everyone else and their mother and their grandson and their pet fish is going to be doing an F1 recap anyway, so I decided for the end of the season I'll do a feeder series, but I was still unsure of which feeder series I'll do. This lighting is too bright. There you go, that's better. I was still unsure of which feeder series I would do. Then the mid-season break reopens in Zandvoort, and F1 Academy was on the same weekend, so I decided to give it a go, and I was fairly entertained from this race, and also the fact that it was more interesting than the actual F1 race. Seriously, Zandvoort this year was boring. I realized like most of the good races last year were boring this year. We'll get into that in another video. And also the Singapore Grand Prix, it was on the support build for the Singapore Grand Prix, so there's just more reason, because I attended the Singapore Grand Prix if you don't know. Now, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a Spurs kit, it's because we're playing Chelsea right now. It's actually half time, so I decided to do this video. So yeah, I'm probably going to skip the second half because it's already 1:30 a.m. Oh, for crying out loud, how on earth did we bottle a 2-0 lead? Well, I can give you Chelsea fans permission to make fun of me in the comments now. Before we get into F1 Academy, let's talk about its predecessor, W Series. There are already multiple videos on how W Series failed, so I'm not going to bore you with all that information. Long story short, it was a DTM support series turned F1 support series, but it eventually died because of lack of interest from the sponsors and the fans. Proper feeder series rules weren't imposed, and it finished before the end of the season. It finished at the Singapore Grand Prix in 2022, which I actually went to the last W Series race. I just realized that. And it was supposed to end in Coda. So there's your first issue. All the cars were ran by a high-tech, I believe, and the teams were privately owned by W Series. So I think you can see another reason why it failed. And also the entry fee is free. That's just a recipe for a disaster in the motorsport series. But it's not all just negative, because the positive thing it did is that it revived racing careers of a few drivers. I think a good example is Alice Powell. After W Series was cancelled off, F1 Academy was announced towards the end of 2022, and in 2023, it was out in full effect. Not really. But I won't really talk about the 2023 F1 Academy season because it was a trial run, pretty much. The races weren't on the F1 support bill. They were all standalone race weekends, so it meant that nobody was there, and none of the races were streamed live either, both on YouTube and F1 TV. So again, no one knew when it was happening. The only exception is Coda, because it was the only race on the F1 support bill, and the only race that was broadcasted live. And the champion of that series, Marta Garcia Lopez, apparently her open wheel career is almost over, so we'll just wait and see what happens, I guess. Towards the end of 2023, it was announced that the F1 teams will start getting involved with F1 Academy. Now, before I got into F1 Academy, I did have a bit of a misconception. I thought that the F1 teams ran the F1 Academy cars throughout the weekend, but no. It's actually the support series teams that run the F1 Academy cars. And we're going to go through every team and every driver right now. Here we go. First, we have Prima. We have Tina Hausman, who's supported by Aston Martin. And judging from her gym posts on TikTok and Instagram, if I piss her off in this video, she might come looking for me and beat me up. So I am not going to say anything remotely negative about her. Dorian Pan, supported by Mercedes. And Maya Vug, supported by Ferrari. Now, about Maya Vug, she's actually severely underrated on this grid. We'll get more into that later. And she did a Singapore Grand Prix vlog. I was in her vlog just for a quick minute because I did come up for an autograph. And mine got more than hers. And my Singapore Grand Prix vlog is one of the worst performing videos on my channel. So how many of you guys can say that your video of attending a race weekend got more views than someone's video who actually raced at that race weekend? Next, MP Motorsport, who house all the Red Bull Academy drivers. They have Emily De House and the Alcubaisi sisters, who I'm pretty sure are the first Emirati racing drivers, so yeah, that's really cool. Roden next. Pause. I would actually like to say, in one of the videos before, I called them Roden Carlin. No, they're actually Roden Motorsport now, so one of you guys corrected me in the comments, so thank you for that. But Roden have Lola Lovenfuss, supported by Charlotte Tilbury, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Abby Pulling, supported by Alpine, and Jess Edgar, supported by Amex American Express. And yes, I think you're noticing that it's not just the F1 team supporting the drivers, it's other sponsors as well. Campos have Chloe Chambers supported by Haas, Carrie Schreiner supported by Sauber, and Nerea Marti supported by Tommy Hilfiger. Now, fun fact about every driver for Campos, they're all experienced sports car drivers, so I think that's really cool. And lastly, certainly not the least, ARTGP, who have the youngest average age on the grid. They've got Bianca Busta Rhymes. What's that NBA 2K15 song again? This is serious. You should have a healthy fear of us. Yeah, that's the one. But I'll say her name properly. Bianca Bustamante. We're both Filipino. She's supported by McLaren, and she's F1 Twitter's favorite female racing driver. Now, I won't get into the things that she says online because I think we all know what she did. But I will say, she gets this for liking a tweet about Lance Stroll. But what does he get?
Corner, he shags it into the barriers, completely destroys the car, and then can't take part in the race because he was in bed all day with a broken Do you know what?
Aurelia Noble, supported by Puma. She's the youngest driver on the grid. She's born on January 2007. I am born in April 2007, and I feel very unaccomplished right now. And lastly, Mother, Leah Block. When you can't find someone to do this trend, I'm available. Oh, yeah, I showed you my notes. That's confidential. I'm available. I can dance too, you know. You thought 100,000 views and I'll show the whole thing. So that was fun. Alright, I'll stop. She's the daughter of legendary rally driver Ken Block, and this is actually her first season in race cars. Before this, she only did rally. And I've been asking for this in a few videos now. Can we like do an interview, Williams, or ART, or her management, or whoever is watching this? And I also like Dorian Pan because her endurance record is very impressive, like her 2022 Ferrari challenge. Go on, mate. And on occasion last year, she would be faster than her Prima teammate in LMP2, Danny Kvyat, ex-F1 driver, by the way. So yeah, but now that you know my two favorite drivers, give me a minute. Yeah, oh my gosh, my hair is too long for... Okay, yeah, it looks better. It's hiding my hair now that I'm wearing the headset. Anyways, let's talk about actual racing now, because it's been 7 minutes and we haven't talked about racing yet. I completely forgot to mention that if you win the championship, you can participate next season, which is good. That's what WCs was supposed to do, but it didn't impose that. And you can only be 16 to 25 to enter, and you can only do 2 seasons. And also the qualifying regs. Go read it for yourself. It's easy to understand, but it's a bit hard to explain, or maybe I'm just illiterate. Now, we're not going to be going through every race this season and the championship progression because A, if we go through every race, we're going to be here forever. And B, the championship wasn't even close. Abby Pulling led every single race after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, after race 2 of Jeddah. We are going to be talking about who the best drivers have been, what the best races were, and how did the wildcards do. Yes, I forgot to mention the wildcards that are supported by Prema. Oh yes, and the controversies too, because there were 2 pretty big controversies this season. Firstly, with the best drivers, it's obviously Dorian Pan and Abby Pulling. I mean, they're unmatched in this grid. Abby Pulling did not make up a single position up until the Qatar Grand Prix, up until race 1 of the Qatar Grand Prix. And it's mainly because she was starting on pole and winning the race every single time. A dominant season and finishing it off in Qatar. Where have I seen this before? Is what I would have said if she secured the championship in Qatar. But since race 2 was cancelled because of a broken barrier during the Porsche race, an extra race was added to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And I'm pretty sure you score like 2 points if you get pole position. I'm still confused on that part. I'm going to put up the regulations on screen. Since you get points for pole position and an extra race was added, she did not win the championship in Qatar. She won it again in Abu Dhabi race 1. A bit confusing, and this is the first controversy we're talking about. Not really a controversy, it's just weird, like Max Verstappen winning the championship in Japan 2 years ago. A dominant season ending off in a very, very weird fashion. Where have I seen this before? Maybe Abby Pulling is just the female version of Max Verstappen and we just don't see it. As I was saying, we all know that Dorian Pan and Abby Pulling are the best drivers on the F1 Academy grid, so let's talk about the most underrated driver on the grid, Maya Vug. Sure, she finished 40 points behind Dorian Pan, but Dorian herself finished 121 points behind Abby Pulling, but Maya finished 41 points ahead of the driver in P4, Nerea Marti, who has been competing in an all-female open wheel series since 2021, so she should have the experience to potentially become the world champion, but she only finished P4 behind someone in their first season in an all-female open wheel series. She finished with 8 podiums throughout the season, capping it off with the race win at Abu Dhabi race 3. And last year, Maya competed in FRECA, Formula Regional European Championship, and she finished P17 with 27 points, and she scored every single point for her team. I think you can see why I find her underrated now. And sure, she has 0 points in Freka this year, but that's because she only did 2 races. Her main focus this year is F1 Academy. So yeah, Maya is very underrated, and she deserves more media attention than she gets. Another driver that impressed me, is she really underrated? I don't know if she's underrated, but it's Leah Block. I know, but hear me out. It might just seem like glaze. I swear it's not. At the end of the 4th race, round 2, Miami race 2, she had 1 point. Her teammate Bianca Bustamante, okay, I'll say it correctly, had 39. And her other teammate, Aurelia Nobles, had 6 points. So it seemed like she was a bit down in the gutter, and she might have been only there because Williams were farming American fans at the time, let's be honest. Anyways, back to the point. From the Spanish Grand Prix up until Abu Dhabi, she has been easily outscoring all of her teammates. She has scored 43 points since then, Bianca scored 34, and Aurelia has scored 18. And it could have been even more if she didn't get a 20-second penalty in Abu Dhabi, but those were absolutely diabolical moves, and even I, as a certified Leah Block Laser, will agree that she deserved a penalty for that. And also her best result was a P4 at the Singapore Grand Prix. And you know who went to the Singapore Grand Prix. That's right, she got her best result because I was there. I'm joking. Maybe it could be a reason. Who knows? So those are the 2 drivers who did more than I expected this season. The rest of them, they kind of performed the way I expected them to perform because they have already been in an all-female racing series before, so you know how to balance them against the rest of the grid, with a few exceptions of course. Now let's talk about the wildcards. Now wildcards are extra drivers for a weekend that will be given to the Constructors Champion from the year before. So the 2023 Constructors Champion was Prima, so the wildcards this year were ran by Prima, and next year the wildcards will also be ran by Prima again because Prima won the Constructors Championship. I think the best wildcard was easily Alicia Palmoski. In Qatar testing, she was setting insane lap times, and in race 1 she finished P10 and potentially could have scored even more points in race 2, but race 2 was cancelled as we all know. But the wildcard that surprised me the most was easily Nina Gaidman. She was able to revive her racing career by posting F1 23 race starts on TikTok. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm saying that's genuinely impressive because she finished P4 on her first race in Zandvoort, slapping half the grid. How on earth did she do that? I think this is living proof that F1 23 is the most realistic racing sim, and you guys should play it right now. But in race 2, she only finished P10 after receiving a 10-second penalty for a collision with Aurelia Nobles. And to be fair, yeah, that was absolutely diabolical. Oh yes, can't forget about Ella Lloyd. She scored 8 points across the total Singapore Grand Prix weekend, and she's also doing really good in British F4, only 4 places behind current F1 Academy champion Abby Pulling. And I'm pretty sure this is also her first ever season in British F4. But aren't the wildcards supposed to be from the region? Because Alicia Palmoski is from Britain, and I don't think Britain is in the Middle East, and Ella Lloyd is from Wales, and I don't think Wales is anywhere near Southeast Asia, so I'm a bit confused on this part. And I'm not saying anything negative about them, I just thought that the wildcards are supposed to be from the region the Grand Prix is happening in. And the other 3 wildcards weren't really there. Logan Hanna did score 1 point at race 2 of Abu Dhabi, but then Courtney Crone and Rima Jafali didn't score any points whatsoever. But in both of Rima Jafali's races, she was caught in 2 incidents. Can they be considered her fault? I'm not so sure. In Jeddah, she did move across Amna Al-Kubaisi's line, but then Amna didn't move, she continued going straight, so I think this is a racing incident. And the one in race 2, she was just caught out there. It was a bit unlucky. But there was enough room inside of Carrie Schreiner. She probably should have just went for that instead of the outside line, but we don't have the onboard, so we don't have the full story. Oh yeah, speaking on Jeddah Race 2, time to talk about the second controversial thing that happened this season. The Dorian Pan flag wave incident. Long story short, she couldn't see the flag being waved because of a light box, so once she crossed the line, she did not know that she actually won the race, and her team were busy celebrating and didn't tell her over the radio. And she ended up getting a 20-second penalty for it, but if this was in another racing series, this would have been a black flag. Well, because she did 2 extra laps after the flag was waved, and in those 2 extra laps, that would have been where the fans come in to do the track invasion, so it would have been really ugly. But that's kind of on the FIA rather than on her. Now, the racing in this series is kind of like your average regional F4 racing, but I'd say it's a lot better because there are no 20-minute safety car periods, so it's more watchable. But let's now review the 3 best races of the season. In my opinion, it's Miami Race 1, Singapore Race 2, and then Abu Dhabi Race 3. In Miami Race 1, there was a titanic battle between Chloe Chambers, Maya Vug, Aurelia Nobles, and Nerea Marty, which was, yeah, absolutely brilliant to watch. In Singapore Race 2, There were actual battles happening on track, unlike the Singapore Grand Prix, and they actually called out the yellow flags, unlike the actual Singapore Grand Prix. In fact, this was the only interesting thing to happen in the actual Singapore Grand Prix. And we're gonna review the entirety of Abu Dhabi Race 3 because it was just such a good race, I have to review it in its entirety. And we're gonna do it MSTF1 style because this video might bring in a new audience, and y'all are not familiar with Prime MSTF1. He was easily the best F1 YouTuber of all time. So here we go with the review. The top 10 was Abby Pulling, Chloe Chambers, Dorian Pan, Hamza Al-Kubaisi, Bianca Bustamante, Maya Vug, Nerea Mardi, Leo Block, Tina Hausman, and Emily De House.
Prema need to have a car in the top 4 to be able to secure that team's title, and Dorian Pat is starting 3rd, so it'll be all eyes forward to see if she can do it.
Abby Pulling dominating the championship by 100 points but not winning the Constructors' Championship? Where have I seen that before? There are so many parallels between her and Verstappen, I love it. It's lights out and away we go for the final time in the F1 Academy season. Dorian Pan gets a jump on Chloe Chambers and gets around the outside of turn 1, leaving her zero room at all, giving us a preview for the F1 race. Bianca Bustamante runs wide not once but twice on the opening lap, and turn 6 is going to be the prime corner cutting heaven for everyone in this race. But before Bianca cut turn 6, Lola Lovenfoss sent an absolute beauty of a dive on Amna Al-Kubaisi, and both of them run wide on the exit of turn 7, so none of them get a penalty for that. Hamza Al-Kubaisi pulled a move around the outside of Abby Pulling but to no avail, but Tina Hausman got hers done on the inside of Carrie Schreiner. You might have noticed that Aurelia Nobles fell down the order, but that's because she stalled on the grid. On lap 2, Maya Vug gets past Hamza Al-Kubaisi
to stand on the top step of the podium.
Show me the tiger. Show me the tiger.
Well, looks like Haas's luck just follows them wherever they go. No matter the series, no matter how good their drivers are, they just seem to be on the losing end. And oh my gosh! Oh, that came out of nowhere! This slipstream train is something you'd see straight out of EA Creator Series, and that overtake attempt is straight out of an F1 online lobby. You know what, to directly quote MSTF1, I've got no more national pride left. Go on, Emily De House. Hey, looks like the effects of Abu Dhabi 2021 is still going strong. Oh, come on, another corner cut? You couldn't just try to brake earlier and prioritize the exit? What on earth is this slipstream train I'm looking at? This is what the 2022 regs were meant to do, but I guess they did. Oh my gosh, Maya's in the lead. Come on! Everyone in the top 15 is within a second of each other, including Aurelia Nobles, who stalled on the grid. This is straight out of F1 Esports. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little corner cuts. If you don't get that reference, go watch an MSTF1 video. Mate, how on earth are they this close together? This is like watching an oval race, and I swear the race directors are gonna get an aneurysm soon. How on earth has Abby Pulling lost 2.5 seconds in the span of 2 laps? I think I smell a train. I think I smell a truly train. Well, I think it's fair that Bianca will let her ARTGP teammate by, considering she has a 10-second penalty. So come on, Leah, go chase that podium. As you can see, I'm trying to foreshadow the future. Ooh, it's really close now. We're almost there, only 2 positions away. And oh my gosh, what a dummy. That's much better than Sebastian Vettel's overtake on Bottas in Barcelona. Argue with me in the comments for that. What a move around the outside. You don't see moves being completed there. Well, to be fair, the F1 cars are like 4 times bigger than these. Abby's already 10 seconds behind Maya, by the way. Did she get a Freaky Friday body switch with Jarno Trulli or what? Come on, Hamda, cut the corner like you did earlier. Oh, actually, you got 2 podiums anyways this weekend. Why not just give one to Leah? You know you're gonna get a terrible exit from this anyways. Leah's gonna get a good run on you, and oh, what just happened? Mother!
Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb?
I love it when the graphics have an aneurysm. You have got to be kidding me. Oh, for crying out loud, she was part of the corner cut song earlier.
Wasn't expecting the pace difference.
I swear, don't let it go.
That shot was more emotional than Kurt Cobain in MTV Unplugged.
I swear, don't let it go.
Not even close. This one gets you right in the feels, doesn't it? You know what? You already have a penalty. Just go for a Max Verstappen. Oh, you have another 10-second as well. Yeah, just go for a Max Verstappen, mate. Go for it. Oh, not close enough, I guess. Oh, come on. You move way too many times on that straight, Abby. Come on, just one round the outside. Something Lewis Hamilton couldn't do. Oh, never mind. Well, I guess that's it. Could have got a podium, and instead, gonna finish P14. Oh, I'm not got a penalty. How many penalties were given out in this race? Holy cow. But after an absolute thrilling end to the season, Maya Vug crosses the line to win her first ever F1 Academy race and Prima's second F1 Academy Constructors Championship in a row. Honorable mention to Tina Hausman, who got her best finish of the season, and Jess Edgar inherited a post-race penalty, so instead of P5, she finished P12. You know what? This was really fun. I should probably review more races in the MSTF1 style. Anyways, let's head to the conclusion of the video and my final thoughts on F1 Academy. Now, I normally ask how you guys think the video was at the end of the video, but I'll do this now since none of you guys stick to the end. What are your thoughts on this way of a season review? Because that's pretty much the structure of my mid-season review. Anyways, what are my final thoughts on F1 Academy? I was never against an all-female racing series when W Series was announced back in 2019. I honestly like the prospect of it. And women belong in motorsport. A lot of the higher-ups in motorsport are women as well. And there have also been many great female drivers throughout the years. But what do I think of F1 Academy? I think it's better than W Series, because W Series ran a bit weird. And F1 Academy definitely did more to boost these drivers' media attention than what W Series did with their drivers. And I also think they should use F3 cars. I think that's been the argument for a while. You're trying to get them into F1, get them into faster cars, more physical cars, so once they get into F1, they know the physicality of it. And at some tracks, the cars look way too small for the track, and that's why regional F4 series uses 40 cars in one grid. Although, that's one of the reasons why they have like 20-minute safety car periods in some races. Well, to be fair, I probably shouldn't be talking about physicality because I am what's known as a fatty. But come on, FIA, just give them faster cars. I mean, Dorian Pan literally drove an LMP2 car for a whole season last year. And those are they quicker than F3 cars, or are they just on par? I forgot. But the main goal of F1 Academy is to get a woman into F1 in the future. Do I think that's happening? Well, before we think of F1, we should think about F2, and the last woman to be in F2 was Tatiana Calderon in 2019. Did she do a race in 2020? I forgot, but I know she was a full-time driver back in 2019. And we also have to think about F1 tests, like a modern F1 car test. Jessica Hawkins did one in Hungaroring, so yeah, I guess we're on the right track. And after that, we need to see one of them do a free practice session, which I genuinely think Abby Pulling can get one within the next 2 to 3 years. Here's all the confirmed drivers for next year, and more importantly, Leah Block's returning to Williams. Yay! And Singapore's on the calendar next year too. So, yeah, it's gonna get another signature on this cap. It's only Alex Albon's. Leah's will be there too. But just saying, Singapore Grand Prix organizers, we really need F2 here. The last time F2 was here, Sam Bird was still in Russian time. That's how long ago it's been. Drivers who I hope not to see in F1 Academy next year are Dorian Pan, Maya Vug, and Alicia Palmoski. So I was supposed to upload this video yesterday, and thank God I didn't, because this just got announced that Alicia Palmoski is getting signed by Red Bull. And this is 3 hours before I upload this, by the way. I think they're all F3 material, like not just regional F3. I think if you give them a shot at the F3 World Championship, they have a good chance. Yes, I know the world champion Abby Pulling only got a regional F3 seat, but I think she can definitely participate in an F3 World Championship. And unpopular opinion, I believe she's better than Sophia Flourish. But the 3 drivers I just mentioned, they haven't been announced for anything next year, so let's hope it's not F1 Academy. I'm not saying F1 Academy is bad. As I said, I like F1 Academy and the prospect of it, but an F3 seat is definitely much better than an F1 Academy seat. And I think Dorian Pan should definitely try to venture back into endurance racing. Yes, I know she did a few races with Iron Dames this year, or Iron Dames, I still don't know how to pronounce it, but she should venture back into endurance racing because I think she can definitely get like a proper top seat, like a proper hypercar seat. So we'll just have to wait and see. And endurance is her forte. She's been doing it for a long time already. And apart from Leo Block, drivers who I have high expectations for next season are Ella Lloyd and Nina Gateman, because I don't want Alicia Palmoski to be in F1 Academy. I want her to be in F3, and these drivers are already confirmed for F1 Academy next year, and judging from their performances in their wildcard appearances, they definitely have a lot to deliver. So all eyes on them. But just saying, if Alicia Palmoski, Dorian Pan, or Maya Vug don't return to the F1 Academy grid next year, I think Chloe Chambers is winning the championship. Come back to this video in a year's time, I guess. But that'll do it for today's video. I might be doing commentary videos full time instead of gaming videos because I am really dry on gaming video ideas. Every single idea for an F1 gaming video has been done already, so you get a bit dry at that point. But I have a lot of other videos coming up this month, so get ready for those. If this goes out by Thursday or Friday, I think I can get one done by Sunday. I'll have to wait and see, or you guys will wait and see. But thanks for watching, and goodbye.